Cricket has been played for over 500 years, producing thousands of extraordinary players across every generation. But only a select few have risen above all others, becoming not just great cricketers, but legends whose names will be spoken with reverence for centuries to come. Today we count down the top 10 cricket players of all time, and number 1 has an achievement so extraordinary that many experts consider it the greatest statistical record in the history of any sport. Stay with me. Welcome back to Late Sortie, where we launch into the world's most fascinating stories. Today we step onto cricket's greatest stages, from the Lords to the MCG, and celebrate the 10 men whose brilliance, dedication, and genius defined what it truly means to play the greatest game on earth. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, Virat Kohli. The man from Delhi who became the most recognizable cricketer on the planet in the modern era. Kohli is widely regarded as the greatest batsman of his generation, with over 27,000 international runs, more than 80 international centuries, and a record of chasing down targets in ODI cricket that is quite simply unmatched in the history of the format. He led India to the top of the Test rankings for 3 consecutive years from 2017 to 2019, and remains the only Indian player to hold the number 1 ranking in all 3 international formats simultaneously. His fitness standards, his intensity, and his relentless hunger for runs have redefined what it means to be a professional cricketer in the modern game. In 2024, he played one of the great innings in T20 World Cup history, delivering under pressure when India needed him most. Virat Kohli is not just a cricketer. He is a phenomenon. Number 9, Wasim Akram. If you were to design the perfect fast bowler, you would probably end up with something very close to Wasim Akram. The left-arm Pakistani fast bowler from Lahore is widely regarded as the greatest left-arm pace bowler in the history of cricket, and arguably the greatest swing bowler who ever lived. His ability to swing the ball both ways, and to reverse swing an old ball at devastating pace, made him virtually unplayable at his best. He was the first bowler in history to take 500 wickets in ODI cricket. He took over 400 Test wickets. He won the 1992 World Cup for Pakistan almost single-handedly, producing a masterclass with the ball in the final against England in Melbourne that is still talked about as one of the greatest bowling performances in the history of the tournament. Wasim Akram did not just bowl. He created art. Number 8, Muttiah Muralitharan. The numbers are almost impossible to believe. 800 Test wickets. 534 ODI wickets. Over 1,300 international wickets in total, more than any bowler in the history of cricket. The Sri Lankan off-spinner from Kandy bowled with a unique action that generated extraordinary turn and dip, bamboozling the best batsman in the world for over 2 decades. His doosra, a delivery that spun in the opposite direction to his off-break, was virtually undetectable even to the most experienced players. He carried the Sri Lankan bowling attack almost single-handedly for years, performing heroically in home conditions and away from home against the most formidable batting lineups in the world. His action was controversially questioned at various points in his career, but he was ultimately cleared on every occasion. The numbers speak for themselves. 800 Test wickets. There has never been anyone like him. Number 7, Shane Warne. On the 4th of June 1993, a young Australian leg spinner bowled a single delivery to England batsman Mike Gatting at Old Trafford that changed the history of cricket. The ball drifted in, landed on leg stump, and spun viciously to clip the top of off stump, leaving Gatting standing at the crease with a look of complete disbelief on his face. It became known simply as the ball of the century. And from that moment, Shane Warne owned cricket. He took 708 Test wickets, at the time a world record, and was the driving force behind Australia's extraordinary dominance of world cricket throughout the 1990s and 2000s. He loved big stages, big moments, and big wickets. He was flamboyant, controversial, and utterly irresistible to watch. Shane Warne tragically passed away in March 2022 at the age of 52, and cricket has never felt quite the same since. Number 6, Brian Lara. There are batsmen who compile runs. And then there is Brian Lara, who created art. The left-handed batsman from Trinidad possessed the most exquisite technique, the most elegant stroke play, and the most insatiable appetite for big scores of any batsman who ever played the game. He broke the individual Test batting record not once, but twice. In 1994, he scored 375 against England in Antigua, breaking Garfield Sobers' long-standing record. Then in 2004, he went even further, scoring 400 not out against England in the same ground, a record that stands to this day. He also holds the highest first-class score in history, 501 not out for Warwickshire in 1994. What made Lara truly extraordinary was that he often produced these heroic performances for a West Indies team in sharp decline, carrying his country's hopes almost entirely on his own magnificent shoulders. Number 5, Sir Garfield Sobers. Ask any cricket expert to name the greatest all-rounder in the history of the game, and the answer is almost always the same. Sir Garfield Sobers of Barbados and the West Indies. Sobers could bat at the very highest level, holding the world record highest Test score of 365 not out for 36 years until Brian Lara broke it in 1994. He could bowl left-arm pace. He could bowl orthodox left-arm spin. He could bowl wrist spin. He held spectacular catches in the field. In a single Test innings, he could win a match in multiple different ways. In 1968, he became the first batsman in history to hit 6 sixes in a single over in first-class cricket, a feat that made headlines around the world. Sir Garfield Sobers was not just the greatest all-rounder cricket has ever produced. He was the most complete cricketer who ever lived. Number 4, Sir Vivian Richards. Cricket has produced many great batsmen, but it has produced only one Viv Richards. The man from Antigua who walked to the crease without a helmet, with a swagger and a confidence that sent a message to every bowler on earth, that they were about to suffer. Richards was the most dominant, most devastating and most feared batsman of his era, perhaps of any era. He scored over 8,000 Test runs at an average of 50, but the statistics alone cannot capture what made Richards special. It was the way he batted. The authority. The power. The contempt for any bowling that dared challenge him. He led the West Indies during their period of complete global dominance, when they were the greatest cricket team on earth. He played in an era of genuinely fearsome fast bowling, and he faced them all without a helmet and without fear. Sir Vivian Richards did not just bat. He conquered. Number 3, Sachin Tendulkar. They call him the god of cricket. And in India, that is not an exaggeration. For 24 years, from his debut as a 16-year-old prodigy in 1989 to his retirement in 2013, Sachin Tendulkar carried the hopes, the dreams, and the prayers of over 1 billion people on his shoulders every time he walked to the crease. The numbers are staggering. Over 34,000 international runs, more than any player in history. 100 international centuries, a record so extraordinary that no one has come close to matching it. The most runs in Test history. The most runs in ODI history. 2 World Cups. 15 ICC Cricket World Cups played in. A career spanning 6 different decades. He won the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian honour, becoming the first sports person in history to receive it. Sachin Tendulkar was not just a cricketer. He was a religion. Number 2, Sir Donald Bradman. The Don. For most of cricket's history, there was no debate about who the greatest player of all time was. It was Sir Donald Bradman. Full stop. End of conversation. The Australian batsman from Barrel in New South Wales played Test cricket from 1928 to 1948, an era of uncovered pitches, long sea voyages and no protective equipment worth speaking of. And yet his Test batting average of 99.94 remains the most extraordinary statistical achievement in the history of any sport anywhere in the world. To put it in perspective, the second highest Test batting average in history belongs to a player who averaged just over 60. Bradman averaged almost 100. In 52 Test matches, he scored 29 centuries. Bowlers tried everything to stop him, including the notorious borderline tactics employed by England in 1932 to 1933, when they deliberately aimed at his body rather than the stumps in a desperate attempt to limit his scoring. Even then, he averaged 56 for the series. The greatest batsman who ever lived, by a margin that statistics alone cannot fully capture. And at number 1, we face cricket's greatest question. Because the debate between Sir Donald Bradman and Sachin Tendulkar is the most passionate and most enduring argument in the history of the sport. Bradman's average of 99.9 for is mathematically unassailable. No one has come close. No one ever will. But Tendulkar played across all three formats, in an era of far more cricket, far more travel, and far more pressure, for 24 extraordinary years. So who is number one? The consensus among cricket's greatest experts, including Sir Garfield Sobers himself, is that the statistical evidence places Sir Donald Bradman at the summit of cricket's Mount Everest. His average of 99.9 for is not just a record. It is the greatest individual achievement in the history of sport. In the words of Sachin Tendulkar himself, when asked about Bradman, he said simply, "There has never been anyone like him." And from the god of cricket himself, that is the highest possible tribute. Sir Donald Bradman. The Don. The greatest cricketer who ever lived. And that is our top 10 cricket players of all time. From Wasim Akram's devastating swing to Bradman's unmatched genius, these 10 men gave cricket its greatest moments, its greatest records, and its greatest stories. Do you agree with our list? Who would you have included? Let the debate begin in the comments below. We read every single one. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Late Sortie. We launch new top 10 videos every week. This has been Late Sortie. The mission continues. To God be the glory.